All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about one of the biggest, most exciting leaps in AI right now, agents. Look, if you think AI is just about answering questions, you're going to want to stick around. We're about to explore what happens when AI can actually do things with those answers.
So we've all gotten used to chatting with AI, right? You ask a question, boom, you get an answer. It's pretty simple. But imagine this. What if that same AI could do more? What if it could take your request, actually create a plan, use a bunch of digital tools, and then complete the whole task for you all by itself? That right there, that's the huge leap we're talking about. From a simple chatbot to a true AI agent.
Okay, so let's do it. Let's move past what we already know and step into what's next. We're going way beyond the chatbot to really get our heads around this much more powerful and autonomous kind of AI. So what exactly is an AI agent? Let's break it down. At its heart, it's an autonomous system. And yeah, it's powered by a large language model, the same kind of tech behind things like ChatGPT. But, and this is the crucial difference, it doesn't just talk. It uses tools to see what's going on around it, make decisions, and then, and this is the key, act on those decisions. It's not just a talker, it's a doer.
Now, you might be thinking, hang on, isn't this just, automation? And that's a fair question, but not quite. See, traditional automation is like a train on a track. It follows a super rigid script. If one little thing goes wrong, the whole thing just breaks. But an AI agent, it's totally different. It's dynamic. It's more like a person driving a car. If it hits a roadblock, it can actually adapt its plan and find another way around. That adaptability, that's the real game changer.
Okay, so what's actually going on inside the mind of one of these agents? Let's pop the hood, shall we? We're going to take a look at the core parts that really make an AI agent, well, tick. First up, at the very heart of every single agent is its brain. And that brain is the large language model, the LLM. You can think of this as the core reasoning engine. It's the part that understands what you're asking for, takes a really complex goal and breaks it down into simple, manageable steps. It's basically the master strategist for the entire operation. But, a brain is kind of useless without a way to interact with the world, right? It needs hands. And to actually do stuff, an agent needs what we can call a tool belt. This could be anything. A web search to get the latest info, a calculator for doing math, or even a super specialized tool that lets it dig through a bunch of private documents. These tools are what connect the agent's brain to the digital world and let it actually take action.
And finally, an agent needs memory. And just like us, it really has two kinds. First, there's short-term memory. This is what holds the context of the conversation you're having right now so it doesn't get lost. But it can also have long-term memory. And this is where it gets really cool, because it can remember your preferences, things you've talked about before, across different sessions. That's how you get a truly personalized experience.
Okay, a single, super smart agent is, yeah, it's impressive stuff. No doubt about it. But the real magic begins when they start working together. This is where we unlock a whole new level of power with something called multi-agent systems.
Just think about it, right? A single agent, it's like one person. They can be great, but they have their limits. A multi-agent system, though, that's like having a whole specialized team. You can have one agent who's an expert researcher, another who's a great writer, and maybe another who's a data analyst. They collaborate to tackle problems that are just way too big for any single agent to handle on its own. It's the ultimate divide-and-conquer strategy. And just like human teams, these AI teams can be structured in a couple of different ways. You've got the hierarchical model, where there's basically a manager agent telling worker agents what to do. This is perfect for clear, step-by-step tasks. Or you can have a horizontal model where all the agents are equals, collaborating like peers. That's way better for things like brainstorming or tackling really messy, complicated problems.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like when it's put to work? Let's check out a real-world example, a full AI research team in action.
So there's this concept called agentic RAG. I know, it's a bit of jargon. It stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. But let's just forget the fancy name for a second. The easiest way to think of it is as a super-powered research team. Instead of you having to do all the manual searching and reading and note-taking, this team of agents does the whole thing for you.
So here's how this team actually works. First, one agent looks at the problem and decides, do we need to look stuff up for this? If the answer is yes, it passes the job to a searcher agent, who goes out and finds all the relevant documents. Then, a grader agent steps in. This is basically the fact checker. It looks at what the searcher found and asks, is this actually useful? Is it relevant?
It can even tell the searcher to go back and try again. And finally, a writer agent takes all that verified, high-quality info and pulls it all together into a single, coherent answer. It's a perfect little assembly line of expertise.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly powerful, right? But how does a developer actually build one of these complex, multi-agent systems? It's not just waving a magic wand. There are actually specific tools and frameworks designed to do exactly this.
And one of the biggest frameworks out there for this is called LangGraph. Now, the simplest way to get your head around it is to just think of it like building a flowchart. You literally define all the different steps, the agents, the tools, and then you draw the lines between them, setting the rules for how the process moves from one step to the next. You're basically creating a map of decision points and actions.
And believe it or not, this whole powerful framework really just boils down to 3 core ideas. First, you have nodes. These are the workers, the individual agents or the tools they use. Second, you have edges. Those are the arrows, the lines connecting the nodes that define the path of the workflow. And third, you have the state. That's the shared memory, the project board that the whole team can see and work from. That's it. Nodes, edges, and state. It's a surprisingly simple way to manage all this complexity.
So, let's just wrap up with this final thought. We've seen how we've gone from simple chatbots to these autonomous agents that can literally team up to research, analyze, and create for us. They're becoming our personal delegates in the digital world. So the real question isn't just what can they do, it's what are we going to trust them to do next? What complex, important tasks are we going to hand over? That's the future we're walking into. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer.